And this is a clear picture of the government's consent, the government's knowledge. And this is the government that's acting with Securitas. She's going to prison. She's monitoring while the entity is flying beyond the apartment complex. I'm at the C Street C Street turn circle, and she's monitoring me. That's Securitas who's going to prison. That's the demon that likes to touch me with impossible light. And then she's going to be in a federal court trying to demonstrate and plead that she's not mentally ill, that she's not maliciously engaged in the conspiracy to murder while the government's flying over the senior citizen apartment complex. And where are they flying? In alignment to where I'm located, doing a U-turn. The same pattern of conduct, okay? This is what they were doing in Upland, California. So connect those videos. Last night during the 7 p.m. hour, they went all the way to Upland, California to do this, and she is stalking, and so is Securitas. Okay, she's gang stalking and she's going to prison for it. And so are her co-defendants, Dylan, the African-American female that changes her hair pieces frequently, that works inside Ovid Family Community Library. So is Leo. So are the kidnappers such as Diana, gang stalking as Securitas employees before 2026. They're all going to prison, okay? And somebody that's gang stalking and is also humiliated, that's a demon that's just waving high like she's on a red carpet. She's on a red carpet headed to prison. While the people are stalking with light, the mentally ill, that's what this is, while the entity's the apartment complex. Remember, while I'm down this hallway, they're doing that over the parking lot. They're coming out this way stalking me. And this is the entity that is doing so using using commercial planes with 0 passengers on them to stalk me. That's how important I am in Ontario. And that's, in other words, how much the city of Ontario, using Frontier Airlines planes, that's what that is in need of martial law. There will be no airport. They use it to murder people, to stalk them, all right? And they do so as psychopaths that are stalking you with light. And they also sit around salivating and masturbating and engaging with a stalking and monitoring your genitalia. And then they want you to look at them and be confused and think that they're humans. They're not. These are demons. And these demons make up a government that is not investigating itself, and that's not what the U.S. will do. Claim that you're investigating anything or that you're diagnosing or assessing the mental state of someone that you are gang stalking. You're going to prison for that. This is P.O.C. This is conspicuous stalking on the roads and the highways. License 9 Sam Nancy Xavier 525. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaged in that. You have the Securitas security guard that's also over here at the town square. I've already documented them. The entity is gang stalking by using the roads and the highways, obviously, but Wells Fargo, the demons inside of Sarah's Regis Group, and the entity is engaging, all the foot traffic right now, and it's barely 6 o'clock. It's 6:10 a.m. This is the P.O.C. The entity is inside of the parking garage gang stalking. I'm going to get their license plates. This is called psychopathic pacing, and the psychopaths are going to be documented by license plate right now. This is psychopathic pacing while one plane after another, but it's the same with regard to one vehicle after another. They're pacing all around me. These are the demons that are obsessed with my genitalia. I just want you to see this because this is the evidence of the entity that is indeed a stalker, that just did a U-turn, that has nothing to do with any flights. There are no flights already published. You'll see the Ontario International Airport has no flights. The first one is at 6:15 a.m., and that's not going to occur over the related company's senior citizen complex. That's Alaska Airlines. This is P.O.C. They're inside of the garage stalking. Movement around, the headlights. That's engineer light, not headlights. These are demons that are monitoring. And these are the mentally ill that are engaged in psychopathic pacing. This is P.O.C. 9TXG 731. This is the government that's stalking with the people of the state, and the people of the state are going to prison. That's impossible light that's on that gate over there while he is stalking. 8GWS 311. And he's a serial stalker. He's a psycho closing that door. That's a demon with a big head. Right? She's in her vehicle engaging in surveillance, stalking with the government. This is a lesbian. Obsessed with my vagina. 9TBD 578. This is a demon moving around the engineer light that's on the wall, pacing around in sync with the demons that are in a plane, doing U-turns and flipping over the building. These are stalkers, conspiring murder. You see that light activity? License with a piece of paper over it. All right, DR37T61. This is P.O.C. This is an entity that knows who you are, they're targeting. And that evidence is proven through the fake sun. These are not humans. These are the demon possessed. All right, and they're still pacing and stalking because they're in need of martial law and because the government itself, those that are not conducting an investigation, those that are not conducting any court hearings, those that are not going to engage in what is delaying justice, stopping them from engaging in their criminal pattern of conduct, they're going to prison, and so are the demons themselves. P.O.C. This is Sarah's Regis Group that's being federally prosecuted. Their employees are gang stalkers. Every resident is a gang stalker, and the demons that are occupying space inside. That's a third plane right now. He's monitoring still. 8GWS311, license 8ZXA510. And the fake sun documentation is evident at downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments. The entity flies directly over this apartment building while I'm at the ARCO. The entire apartment complex is being prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring. And that is the impossible light appearing again. It was just gone. Seconds later, it's reappearing. These are demons, and that's demonic. It's impossible light activity. Take a good look at that. That's impossible light activity inside of a parking garage. License plate IBADHLK. And there are also no planes that are scheduled right now from the airport, and it is currently 6:13 a.m. The entity that maintains flights over here in over the Ontario Civic Center is already targeting. That's a judicially noticed fact. And there's no sun that is going to aim any sort of sunlight on any level into this building, onto the walls. They're stalkers, and I just documented demons for you. This is the P.O.C. They're on the roads and the highways stalking. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct, and this is also the crime scene where the fake sun is shining right here over this building after 5 and 6 o'clock, where the entities such as UPS, for example, is hovering and flying right here over this apartment building, where the entity is engaged in the system of criminal monitoring. This is the government's concoction. The government that's also not claiming that you investigated or held a court hearing about anything. What the government is admitting to is the government's admitting to engaging in what is ongoing targeting of the one that they're not sacrificing. They did it to the one that has already proven that they're guilty. And because of that, the government is going to compensate me, and the government is also going to be subject to prison. I mean, the very ones that are in positions claiming that you were investigating, you were holding a court hearing, you were looking into this, you were testing that. Those are all admissions to that which they don't have authority to do. You don't have authority to maintain psychological torture tactics and testing an American citizen, claiming that you had this intention. They're going to prison for it. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:15 a.m. and this is exactly what Jason Fields and the so-called federal government, and doing so while they're targeting with Tracy Banks. These are demons that are guilty. They're murderers. And while they got caught, they are engaging in that ongoing pattern of conduct while engaging in what is duplicitous conduct, still gang stalking and targeting me while also claiming that you want to be holding an investigation and looking, and there's nothing to look into. They know exactly what they're guilty of, and they're still doing it, and they are all going to prison. This is P.O.C. All right, this is the prosecution of Sarah's Regis Group, downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments. This entire crime scene, the fake sun that is here rising, is not aiming any sort of sunlight into the depths of a parking garage onto the wall inside. That's impossible light activity. They're demons. All right, those are all demons. They're walking in it, driving in it, using their devices in it. And this is where the entity is moving that fake sun. That engineered light follows, just like the demons do. They follow. They're stalking me with light. And they're mentally ill. They're stalking me in planes while they're stalking with light. They're stalking me in helicopters while they're stalking with light. They're stalking in the library all day long. That's what you're looking at, demons. This is the P.O.C. That's Robert is subject to federal prison, gang stalking with Page One Cafe. All right, this is the P.O.C. He's parked in the City Hall parking lot where the entity's doing cartwheels when I stay over there by the library. They are coming alignment with where I am at, and that was, again, 3 planes. This is the 4th plane while they're engaging in targeting at the Ontario Civic Center, where they are engaging in that pattern of conduct and stalking, which is prosecuting the City of Ontario, the City of Upland, as the mentally ill. And this is the government system that is serving to enforce what is martial law. Okay, that's P.O.C. That's you. This is the pattern of conduct. Alrighty, this is the entity that is indeed severely mentally unstable. And you're going to prosecute corporate entities and demons like this. 5 SEY 962 is this conspicuously stalking an American citizen right in their face in furtherance of murdering them. And now they're doing it while their plan, what they plan to do and how they intended to affect an American citizen is not working. And so now you're getting a breakdown of that system. And those that are in positions, those that are in the military, those that are engaging in holding court hearings, you have admittedly engaged in gang stalking. You're going to federal prison. Whether or not you realize that when you held a court hearing and I was outside being gang stalked by planes and helicopters on behalf of the government that you have not told to stop targeting me. You are in direct control of that. And that is the malicious pattern of conduct. This is the P.O.C. Your position versus the tangible evidence speaking to a pattern of conduct, which in fact exists, is not going to compete with that evidence. You're going to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:17 a.m. at the Ovid Family Community Library. The employees at Ovid are going to federal prison. They're all going to prison. This is the entity that's engaged in psychopathic behavior. This is exceeding stalking. Now, they're stalking because they're following everywhere that I go, but to do so when United Airlines, Frontier Airlines, and the Southwest Airlines, all the planes that I'm documenting this morning, that, in other words, one after another, that's the psychopathic behavior that's exceeding stalking. This is beyond stalking, okay? These are demons that are mentally ill, and they have sacrificed themselves. I just want to be clear, Tracy Banks, Jason Fields in particular, these gang stalking organizers and leaders, Tracy Banks has on camera already committed what is a serious violation of the law, and she's going to federal prison for coming into my presence while gang stalking with the U.S. military, doing so in furtherance of murdering me. And that is including while I was in her apartment. But after I separated myself for my protection, and she goes out of her way to come and gang stalk me at the bus stop at 537 North Euclid Avenue, gang stalking me as I am inside of the Ovid Family Community Library on multiple occasions, when I have not communicated with her, not told her anything, not requested anything, and she is the one that is coming and approaching me while I am outside documenting the entity stalking me at the Starbucks. And then the reason why she knows where I'm at, because she's a monitoring spirit. She's a demon conspiring my murder with this very entity. She is the entity. She's going to prison for that. And it's the same with Jason Fields, her co-conspirator. I just want to be clear on that. These are gang stalkers. It's the same with Eric Spencer. He's at this town square during the 1 p.m. hour in the middle of the afternoon. He's going to federal prison. He is the same entity. They engaged in kidnapping, they engaged in criminal summoning, they engaged in criminal defamation, and so did Jason Fields. While he has sex with Tracy at night, and Tracy gets up and gang stalks me conspicuously during the day, Jason Fields is going to prison. And were he to ever physically come into my presence, he's going to prison for the same impunity. Psychopaths that are engaging in what is plotting your murder, but they just think that you don't know that because of the gang stalking system. That's already known. So now you are stalking someone, and then you're in their face conversing with them like you're not. The only person that's crazy and delusional are them. This is P.O.C. This is psychopathic pacing. Jason Fields does this, he's going to prison longer. 18NX 109. License plate. They're all stalkers. License plate. 9BTG 977. They're all stalking with the government. Jason Fields does any of this. He comes around, says anything to me in my presence, he's going to prison longer. License 5CQY 189. And this is the military that has the people of the state stalking, because that's what you're doing in the environment. They're in a parking garage stalking right now. You need to understand how psychotic they are. That is Tracy Banks. That is the City of Ontario employees surrounding with regard to stalking. Okay? Doing so under a fake sun. And doing so now because you're frustrated that you're not getting your money back. In fact, you're going to pay me. And not only that, you're going to be exposed worldwide for what you committed against me, which the world knows you've done multiple times for decades against other American citizens and those across the globe. To continuously engage in targeting me in this psychopathic manner, expose the ability of Frontier Airlines, United Airlines, Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines that are stalking me by virtue of the military using those in a psychopathic manner. Not just the fact that you're stalking, but look at the way that they do it. One plane after another, after another, after another, after another. Like they are literally chasing me as I move around. This is the demons that are in a parking garage in a ridiculous circus environment in the interior light. These are demons. They're psychotic. That's not sunlight. That is not sunlight. There are stalkers in here. They're all stalkers. They're monitoring. The entity that's engaging in that is the one that's going to be held responsible under the law civilly and criminally in ways in which they have not contemplated because they've never been proven and prosecuted before. License plate. 9 Nancy Paul 226. This is P.O.C. pacing with the demon on the bike. Okay? This is Metro 102, related company, senior citizen apartment complex at the 280 North Lemon Apartments, Ovid Family Community Library, Ontario Senior Center, Ontario City Hall, University of Laverne, University of Laverne, the law school. And this is Sarah's Regis Group, Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments. This is Wells Fargo, 240 North Euclid Avenue. You have the Mule Car Smokehouse. You have the Ontario Fire Department, the Ontario Town Square Townhomes. This is the entity that's engaging in the POC, and this is the relevant positioning because I'm prosecuting everything, all of it at the same time. Okay, this entity is going to be defunded and you're being prosecuted regardless of business hours. That's why they're sitting outside. That's why they're flying over. That's why they're maintaining presence in relevant positions surrounding. There is no police department that has authority under the law. And because the Ontario police who are demon stalking have done so, they're being disbanded. They're being prosecuted. And the federal government, you're going to prison for the city police stalking me. That's how you are being held accountable for engaging in terrorism via the states. You are not conducting an investigation. You are not conducting an investigation of your criminal activity that I prove you are guilty of. You are still targeting, and you, whose specific identity is not remaining a mystery, targeting with people like Jason Fields, you're going to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:23 a.m. This is equally psychopathic pacing. They're doing the same thing. They're dumb enough to use commercial planes, multi-million-dollar companies that I'm going to literally exhaust financially of national security, that they cease to exist as companies. Martial law. California is not flying anywhere. You're talking about John Wayne, Los Angeles International, Cable Airport, San Bernardino International, Ontario International, shutting down these airports that are engaged in this surveillance system, and they murder people. That's how 9/11 happened. These demons, the U.S. military that go on suicide missions. That's how that happened. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:23 a.m. This is the stalker that's following. It's the prosecution of the state. While the U.S. military is still gang stalking on another day, every license plate that I get is a means of exposing specifically an entity that is engaged in what is targeting obsessively. And they are doing so with the consent, as gang stalking shall be prosecuted. It is the government's criminal system, the government's criminal activity, and these are demons moreover. And they have not received an order from the government to stop targeting, and the government is being prosecuted for it. The government is not going to be relieved of liability because they're claiming that they held a court hearing, that they claim that they were investigating something. They are witnessing themselves being investigated. You're going to be held responsible under the facts and the information that I have provided prosecuting you. 9ZBC319. This is P.O.C. This is all impossible light activity that's not shooting into the depths of a parking garage horizontally. That's impossible light activity while you have what is the impossible. How can you be so psychotic, so stupid? Because they're demons. That's why. All right? This is that move from the opposite side. Remember, when I'm on the opposite side of the library, it's over there. It's moving as I move. They're stalkers. This is a stalker society. Here's my shadow back here. Here's my shadow right here. This is the apartment building that they're flying over in the middle of the afternoon when I come from Bethel on Sunday afternoons. And the fake sun is right here over my head on this sidewalk. And the demons are flying over this apartment complex. That's where they're stalking. The government is being prosecuted for its system. The government is still engaging in that system, and the government is being prosecuted for it. Government actors. P.O.C. It is currently 6:25 a.m. The entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct, and they're doing so while they are being exposed worldwide. That's a psychopath engaging in a U-turn. While I have two shadows on both sides of my person, impossible light activity. While they're stalking inside of a parking garage. While license 9 Zebra Bob Charlie 319 is sitting around stalking somewhere parked over here so they can get back in their vehicle. They're keeping me under surveillance right now. And so is the entity. The entire airline industry is being prosecuted for surveillance with the government. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the entity that's conceding. The police don't have authority. So while you're stalking me, every single last one of them are going to prison. Every single last one that I documented. And those that are in the military, that are in positions of authority, that's what you're understanding. Those that are claiming you're not investigating anything and you don't have authority to do that, I'm being gang stalked and you're going to prison for it. It's terrorism, not merely negligence. It's not negligence. It's intentional and malicious, and you're being held responsible for it. This is P.O.C. Stalking, driving in the engineer light, all that impossible light activity. They're walking, driving in, stalking. Monitoring the entire apartment. This is how an establishment is being prosecuted, as stalking with the government. P.O.C. It is 6:26 a.m. under the fake sun. This is downtown Ontario, luxury apartments. This license plate, I'm going to go ahead and get this in this video because this is going on the podcast as well. License 47542 George 4. This is the entity that is stalking, pacing back and forth. They're driving in the engineer light. That's Ontario Montclair School District. Sex offenders, stalkers. 1497520, and with her, this demon walking, they're pacing, and the fake sun is moving as I move. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct. Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments is not private property. It's a facilitating venue where the system is underway. The ignition is running. These are stalkers. They're monitoring. 47542 G4. They're monitoring while the entity is flying in U-turns over the apartment complex. They're gang stalking. P.O.C. Gang stalking. Driving an engine at my shadows in front of me and behind me. They're gang stalking. This is an apartment complex. I want you to see the address because I'm prosecuting Saris Regis Group. P.O.C. This is where they're at stalking. And the fake sun is here in the evening. You're monitoring. It's all criminal presence. And any immigrants they're being deported. This is how the entire state's being deported. This is P.O.C. All immigrants are being deported. That is the pattern of conduct. That's the pattern of conduct. They're flying over the Ovid Family Community Library. That's P.O.C. That's all impossible light activity. Alrighty, engage in that. So this is exposing what is public corruption. And these are demons that keep their back to you while they are very much masturbating, monitoring your vagina, stalking you in bathrooms, going into rooms adjacent to you, stalking you in the path, while the entity is stalking in the way in which you see with planes and helicopters. Those are the demon possessed. And they're mentally ill. It's going to be prosecuted. This environment is relevant and it is exposing malice and it's exposing mental illness disorder by the entity. And the federal government is still gang stalking on another day. And the federal government, those that are in positions of authority that did not make the decision to stop targeting, that think that you're going to keep gang stalking and then you're just going to give me a check or something, or I'm just going to miraculously get money and the problem's going away, you are sadly mistaken. You're going to prison. You're going to federal prison, and Jason Fields is not going to prison by himself. This is P.O.C. It's currently 6:29 a.m.